Johnson, who makes the catch, and that's a touchdown. Pass, and he throws it to Rashid Shaheed, who scores the touchdown. Devon Vele makes his first catch, and it's a touchdown.
Welcome to Saints All Access, presented by Microsoft Copilot PC, right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. I'm Erin Summers. Key moments and missed opportunities proved costly in a 26-21 loss to the 49ers. From execution on third down to adjustments late in the game, players and coaches broke it down after the final whistle. Here are the thoughts on what needs to change going forward.
Really good battle right to the end again. I thought our guys, the play style, everything that we wanted, they brought. There's pain just with losing again, another short one. But it really comes down to we got to play better, faster, learn from these things, and go from there.
I think we're doing a lot of good things, getting after the quarterback, being physical in the run game. I like the way guys are emptying the tank. I like how guys are showing up and preparing.
We wanted to have more explosive plays this game, and I think we did. Hit a few of them. Got to find a way to hit more.
We got everything we need, but we have to play cleaner football, and we have to play and do what winning teams do in each and every moment, from the beginning of the game all the way to the end.
I think that's what I'm most excited to see is the level that some of the young guys in the building are playing at. We had Sanker have to come in and step into a major role at safety, and he did it at a high level. Grando was ferocious, as always. Spencer played phenomenal. He can make all the throws. He's very shifty with his feet and being able to keep plays alive. I think he has a unique swagger and confidence about him. I think he can just continue to play with that and let who he is come out. I think that the city as a whole is going to be pleased with him.
You want to win at the end of the day. We play this game to win. We play together. We battle every week. We got a lot to build on. We're coming right back to work tomorrow. We're not flinching. These guys were built for it. So we know what we can be capable of as a group, and we're going to go attack.
We need to take the next steps, and this next week will be our first time on the road. Big time challenge going up to Seattle, and there's great opportunity and excitement when you go on the road and you do it together, and you have to rally together, and so it'll be an exciting opportunity for us to go get it.
We're joined now by Saints associate head coach, running back coach Joel Thomas. Back here after a year with the Giants. You said this place was somewhere you called home now. So how good is it being back?
It's incredible to be back here and living in New Orleans, have my family back here, going to school, doing football, going to football games, living up in Lakeview. Absolutely am ecstatic to be back here in New Orleans.
You got to kick it off with 2 games in the Superdome last week. You see Alvin Kamara go for 99 yards on the ground, and then he adds a few in the passing game as well. How does he make it look so easy?
Well, obviously he's been blessed with a talent that a lot of people have never witnessed. He's one of the best that has ever done it, especially here for the Saints. But it's been great to be back around with Alvin. Obviously a year away. You kind of get a chance to step back and maybe appreciate some things that on a daily occurrence you kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit. And I think he feels the same way with my coaching style with him as well. So now we just got to make sure we take that and transition it to some wins and start stacking those things as we go.
How important is it to find that counterbalance to what AK does and maybe develop another back next to it?
Oh, it's important. Obviously, early on here, I was able to have the Alvin, Mark, Latavius, those guys that rotated through there. And, it's important that as this season proceeds that we find that role for Kendre. And he's had an incredible camp. Obviously, he had some things coming in from the last season, and it's been a clean slate for him. And I've seen him grow firsthand from the first day he was here to where we're at now. So it's on me to get him in there some more, and that's going to happen here as time goes on.
Another back, Velus Jones Jr., you talked to me about him and how you wanted to mold him into the right body type for a running back as he's moving from a wide receiver into that main running back role. What is the balance, though, between keeping that speed and agility and then also being able to protect in the pass?
Well, the thing with Velus is that he's still learning the position, being a wide receiver by trade. he's earned everything he's gotten as far as making the roster, and obviously he's got a value with special teams. But where he has improved in protection, and it's not easy. You gotta go up there and take a bullet for the president, so to speak, and nobody notices most of the time. It's part of doing the job. So he's got a physical body type that can withhold some of those things. Obviously, when you're talking 3 within a rotation, it gets pretty difficult. So we're trying to really focus in on the 2 as we go right now and find roles for the other guys that are traveling and suiting up.
When you look at this next matchup against the Seahawks, they held Pittsburgh to just 56 yards on the ground this last game. Where is there an opportunity for you to find more success against this defense?
Well, I mean, that's one. Obviously, we're right in the beginning stages of the film study, starting to formulate that game plan here this evening. So we're going to find cavities. Fortunately, we got some familiarity with everybody does with everybody's coaching staffs. Went up there last year with the Giants and was able to get a win. And we were able to run the ball pretty well. So we know that in order to be successful in this game, especially on the road, that's my home area as well. So I enjoy going up there and getting wins when we get that opportunity.
Yeah, Port Angeles, so not
Yes.
too far from Seattle.
Nope.
And you spent a lot of time coaching at Washington. The Saints are going to get to practice there back in Husky Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
How much are you looking forward to that?
It's not a homecoming per se because I'm not going and visiting a bunch of people, but there's a lot of familiarity. Like as far as like directing people, hey, where to get dinner or whatnot on our off night, and just there's a comfort level when you go back somewhere where you spend a lot of time that you just kind of step right in and hit the ground running, and hopefully I can kind of bring that to the table with people on our team, and we got a lot of guys that are actually from the area that have spent time as well. So it'll be a fun trip, and it'll be even funner when we go get a win on Sunday.
Coach Moore said he's not going to make the trip over the mountain range to go back home to where
No.
he's from. I guess you're not going to be able to as
No,
well.
I've done that drive too many times in college and heading over to Moscow, and it's a eventful drive, 5 hours of flat land. So we're probably not going to make that one this time.
You mentioned hitting the ground running.
Yes.
Obviously something you want to do in that running game, but overall for the team, there have been opportunities. How can you fire on all cylinders from jump?
Well, it's being connected and being on the same page, and obviously our biggest deal is going to be handling having poise in the noise. That's what a motto I've kind of adapted there. They're going to be loud. They came off a win. The crowd's going to be into it, and I think when you handle that and you can handle the emotions of the crowd noise, and all of a sudden maybe you get bumped back, a down here and there. You got to get back on track and play in front of the chains. And if we can do that, stay connected, see the protection and the run game through the same set of eyes as the offensive line and the quarterback and everybody intertwined, then we'll be pretty solid.
I know the speakers will be pumping at practice this week to help you get ready for that noise there in Seattle. Joel, thank you so much for joining us here. On the other side of this break, we're going to continue to break down the Seattle Seahawks with the Saints legend, Deuce McAllister. Stay with us right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network.
Rattler has it. Here comes some pressure, throwing to the end zone, looking for Juwan Johnson, who makes the catch, and that's a touchdown right in the corner of the end zone.
We have a really nice offensive play for you from the Saints' 26-21 loss to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday in the Caesars Superdome. Now here's the situation. Saints are trailing 9-0. It's in the second quarter, 1:20 left. They're 3rd and 6 at the San Francisco 18. Now, a couple of back things to remember about this. First, Juwan Johnson had dropped 2 passes in the first quarter, so it didn't look like it was going very well for him. But on this particular drive, he had already caught an 11-yard pass, and he runs through and gives kind of a, he tries to high hurdle a defender. Looks more like a karate kick, but still he's able to gain 11 yards off of it. Second thing to remember is this is a situation where here's Devon Vele, here's Brandon Cooks, and here's Juwan Johnson, the guy to remember. Now, of course, nothing happens without quarterback Spencer Rattler, and of course you got to have some offensive protection from the line, but he's going to have a really good rush on Spencer Rattler. It's going to come from the right side. And second, you got a one-on-one situation with the receivers. So everybody has a situation where they're in a position where you just got to beat your guy, win the play, and you might win the day. Now, one-on-one, Vele. One-on-one, Cooks. And one-on-one, Juwan Johnson right here against Marquise. But look at the pressure coming for Spencer Rattler. So he's got to get rid of this ball, and he gives it enough air to allow Juwan Johnson to run underneath it. Let's let it go a little bit more. Freeze right here. See, he throws it off his back foot, and Juwan Johnson isn't even open at present. But this is what you want if you're Juwan Johnson. You want the quarterback to have some faith in you. You want the opportunity to win that one-on-one battle, and Juwan Johnson is going to come up clean with this one on a beautiful back shoulder throw by Spencer Rattler, who, again, threw it off his back foot. He had pressure in his face, but he puts it in the perfect place where only Juwan Johnson can make this catch. Let's let it go. Look at that throw, look at the catch, touchdown, 9-7. The Saints pulled the win there, 9-7. But again, a great throw, and we're going to show it to you from another angle behind the Niners defense. There's Cooksey. There's Juwan Johnson. Here's Vele. Cooksey's going to go in motion. He's going to draw the defender with him. And when you go in motion, you can pretty much detect the one-on-one because you see the defender going with him. And really, again, you get pressure up front, but Spencer Rattler is going to have to make a fantastic throw right to the pylon down here for Juwan Johnson before Juwan Johnson is open. But sometimes when you got a guy and you got trust in him, when he's covered, he's still open to you. And Spencer Rattler makes that kind of throw. Let's let it go. And Juwan Johnson, again, covered, throws it out there, gives him a chance. He comes up with a big play. Saints score their first touchdown of this game. They pulled it within 9-7. Again, come up short 26-21 on Sunday in the Caesars Superdome. But that is your expert analysis from the Saints 49ers game.
We're joined now by former Saints running back Deuce McAllister, who is also an analyst on the Saints radio broadcast, so definitely has a good perspective of things here. Going into this weekend, the Saints are facing the Seattle Seahawks. They're 1-1 coming off a road victory, but they are back home at Lumen Stadium. How tough of an environment is that really to play in?
It's going to be tough, and I think, one of the biggest things that the Saints team really offensively and defensively is they've got to do a great job of communication. And so whether it's hand signals, whether it's, speaking actually to the quarterback and, giving him a couple verbal cues so he understands and knows. And even if you have to go old school, running the play in with the receiver or someone to kind of give him, hey, number one, number two, because that's really the 12th man. How this Seattle defense, it feeds off of that impact. And if they can be able to beat you out of their snap or out of their stance and you're a little late, it doesn't help you from whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the receivers, because now you're kind of reacting late. And the strength really for that defense is a 3-4 base defense, but the strength of that defense is the defensive line. And so they can really get after you. And so that's probably the biggest challenge. They have some talented players, but that will be the biggest challenge, putting that plan together, being able to be on the same page where there's no issues with, I don't want to call it just crowd noise because there's some other things that come into play, but crowd noise can affect you to the point where you can't operate your system.
Yeah, through 2 weeks of play, the Saints have had 20 penalties. That's been something that has been an issue that they're still trying to attack. For them, especially in that environment, what has to be the main focus to be on the same page from the start of the game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, can you play fast? I mean, that's always going to be a question mark for any team. And then having your first game, true road game, being up there in Seattle will be a challenge. And so when you talk about playing fast, it's giving them some plays, not just one play, but some plays where they can go to and they know everybody knows exactly what we're doing from a formation standpoint, from a play standpoint, from a solid count standpoint, and or even based off the movement of the guard. That's normally who gives the cue to the quarterback, as far as looking at the center, whether it's a head nod, whether it's two claps, whatever it may be. They will have a formula to be able to say, hey, look, this is how we want to operate. The Saints team offensively, they've probably done better with tempo. And so being able to go to the line of scrimmage, immediately you get a couple calls. You'll have to give the quarterback a little bit more, but you have to be able to give him enough where he can go out there and be successful. And the other thing is you don't want to feel hurried as a unit as well, because that's where that defense will really be able to feed off of, the crowd, the environment, et cetera.
The Saints were able to really get their ground game going, especially with Alvin Kamara's 99 yards in this last game. But Seattle limited Pittsburgh to just 56 yards from their 3 backs in the last game. What do the Saints need to do to get that run game going? Because that can help quarterback Spencer Rattler get going as well.
Well, that's one of his best friends, and we need to go and petition the stat individual who shaved Alvin at 1 yard, because originally when the game ended, it was 100 yards, and then they go back, they change it to 99, and so we'll still say 100 until, we're going to lobby for that to be changed. But he really had a good game, and the offensive line up front, they gave not only Alvin the run lanes, but they gave Spencer Rattler the time to be able to throw the football, and we kind of know what happened as far as the ending of that game. You've got to be able to take your run game on the road, and so the offensive line, they'll be familiar with the look, because it's a lot of what they play against on a daily basis as far as the 3-4 or at least 3-down look that you'll get from Seattle. There's some different principles from that look, and so it's just making sure everybody is on the same page. The call will come from Eric, and then making sure he can be able to talk to his guys up front, and they understand and know this is who we're blocking, this is who you have. We want to handle this look this way, and to be able to lock those guys up, because if you can get Alvin to the 2nd and 3rd level, eventually he's going to be able to pop one. He's going to break one, but it takes securing that front line first.
The Seattle defense has had 2 interceptions apiece in the first 2 games. So not only are they stout up front, there's some tough players in that backfield too.
Yeah, on the back end, they've got some talent back there, and they're potentially getting some more back, guys that haven't been available in the first couple of games. Potentially, we'll see how the week unfolds on whether some of those guys come back. But I mean, it starts with the pressure up front. They don't have to really blitz a lot. I mean, when you look at it, I think it's less than 15%, maybe 20% of the plays, because they can get pressure generated with that front 3 or 4. And whenever that happens, that means I can flood the zones and, maybe bracket a receiver or 2 that normally doesn't happen. And so you've played against some pretty good quarterbacks as well. You talk about Brock Purdy and obviously Aaron Rodgers. Those are pretty good quarterbacks. But if they're able to limit your run game, then now I can drop more people into coverage. And, that's really what has happened the last couple of weeks. And so it'll be a challenge. It'll be a challenge for the Saints. They've only had a couple of turnovers so far early in this year. They need to limit those on the road, and then you have to be able to, like you talked about, the 20 penalties. You had 13 the first one, 7 the last game. If you can limit those again, then I think you put yourself in position to be successful.
Looking at what the Seahawks do well offensively, they're led by quarterback Sam Darnold. Ken Walker went over 100 yards in this past game on the ground as well. What are the biggest threats there that the Saints have to be aware of?
Well, it's the run game, and then being able to control the boot. I mean, and so they're going to be able to take some shots. They like to take some shots. Sam Darnold's an aggressive quarterback. He's in a new system, and so the guys should be somewhat familiar with Kubiak defensively, but it'll be different. I mean, but some of maybe the looks or the action, there's some familiar, they'll be familiar with that. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to stop Walker, and it's kind of a 2-headed monster with their running game. But Walker, I think he had 4 plus 10-yard runs in the last game alone, and the Saints didn't allow a lot of that the first 2 weeks. You had one, I think, last week, and then it was a scramble, and then the previous week there was a big run that Arizona was able to hit you on. But if they can limit that run game, then now that forces kind of the Seahawks to have to lean on the passing game a little bit more. And so I think the Saints can win that, but it's going to take a group effort. It won't be just one guy being able to slow that run game down.
All right, that is a breakdown of what we can expect from this matchup against the Seahawks coming up this weekend. On the other side of this break, we're going to hear Stan Verrett's recipes for success so we can get that W on Sunday.
Mic'd up. 5-0. Hot on the block.
Working today. Undercover. The whole time he's just going to be over there. Hi, John.
Look, you guys got me in trouble, man. I'm mic'd up. Man, y'all messed up, bro.
You ain't tell nobody.
Bro, because I don't want it to be about me. It's not about me. It's about teams. The tight ends are mic'd up. It's hot.
Here we go.
Real hot.
I need to find the AC. Turn it down a little bit.
It's one of them hot days today. This is what it's like being in New Orleans, though. You gotta love it.
Mama, I love What's going on, Mama? Hey, my dad right over there, too.
He too big for that. He way too big for that. I be seeing him in the cow. He be eating all his veggies, all his fruit.
Well, guess what?
Hey, he better go get some of that bison.
Better get.
These guys make me look so small.
Get no action, bro. None.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. That one hurt, John.
Sack! Hey, put that down. Put that down. That's a sack.
Go. Go. Yay! That's a touchdown. Come on.
Ah! 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 Hey, man, high quality content. That's what the people want. That's what the people want, right? High quality content.
The Seattle Seahawks may bring the noise in the Pacific Northwest, but if you're gonna beat them, you better bring the blueprint. Every defense has a crack. Every offense has a rhythm to disrupt. What's the sauce to cooking up a win against the Seahawks? Well, we're bringing in Stan Verrett to give you his recipes for success.
Saints will once again try for their first win of the season Sunday when they take on the Seahawks in Seattle. Let's take a look at the recipe for success for that game. It starts with communication. Lumen Field has a well-deserved reputation as one of the toughest places to play in the NFL because of the crowd noise generated by Seattle's famous 12th man. You may remember in Week 1, the Saints had some problems with pre-snap penalties. They were able to get that corrected in Week 2, and that trend will need to continue this week. They will practice with loudspeakers on full blast this week, hoping that will help with snap counts and limiting penalties on Sunday. Ingredient number 2 is trying to make Seattle one-dimensional. Kenneth Walker IV ran for 105 yards on just 13 carries in Seattle's Week 2 win against the Steelers on the road. Saints will need to shut that down in Week 2, especially on first and second down. They need to get the Seahawks into third and long situations to deal with their passing game with Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Cooper Kupp. And that passing game, incidentally, led by former Saints offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. Saints pass rush could become a factor if they get the Seahawks into third and long, and the Saints are currently tied for second in the NFL with 8 sacks through 2 games, and Carl Granderson is tied for the NFL lead with 3.5 sacks so far. And the final ingredient is continuing to help Spencer Rattler develop. Rattler took some steps from Week 1 to Week 2 with his play. Running the ball certainly helped. Alvin Kamara had 99 yards on the ground to give the Saints a little bit more balance. Receivers have to step up a bit more this week. They had some problems with drops in Week 2. But the Saints, very efficient in the red zone. They were 3 for 3 with 3 touchdowns as Rattler threw 3 touchdown passes in his best start so far of his Saints career. We'll be looking to get his first win Sunday in Seattle. That's the recipe for success. Erin, back to you in the studio.
Linebacker, leader, and now world traveler. Saints linebacker Demario Davis traded the playbook for a passport, soaking in the sights and sounds of Paris, from the Eiffel Tower to the Louvre, and even a stop at the legendary Notre Dame Cathedral. Demario embraced French culture with style and curiosity.
What's going on? Demario Davis here, Saints linebacker and global brand ambassador. We have just touched down in Paris, and I'm excited to get going. This week is about so much more than a photo op. It's bridge building, it's relationship forming, it's all about legacy, our youth, our partnership here in Paris, expanding globally. So I went from the country streets of Mississippi to Arkansas to New York, now in New Orleans, and now in Paris. The game of football will literally can move and create access and opportunities around the world. And that's why sports diplomacy works. Now we're hitting the city. First stop has been here at the Louvre, getting a chance just to really dive deep into the history and all the culture of Paris. I am super excited to be here with you guys today.
Il est très content d'être avec nous aujourd'hui.
We are going to have a great time.
On va avoir un très bon moment.
Today we had kids out here that were playing football for the first time. Football just continues to create these unique opportunities. For me, it was my first time coaching flag football out of the country. And so even I'm getting new experiences.
1, 2, 3!
Guests walked the red carpet and had the opportunity to join defensive end Cam Jordan in an intimate setting for an evening with Cam. New Orleanian and Fox Sports sideline reporter Jen Hale hosted the event benefiting the Cam Jordan Foundation. Guests took place in a silent auction and enjoyed local cuisine. Mrs. Benson was in attendance and recognized the Community Champion Award for her unwavering dedication and profound impact on the New Orleans community. Mark Romig joined in on the action, hosting the silent auction. All of the proceeds from the event benefited the Cam Jordan Foundation, which supports the enrichment of the New Orleans community. That does it for this edition of Saints All Access presented by Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. We're gearing up for another big week for the Black and Gold as they head to the Seattle Seahawks. Join us next week for another edition of Saints All Access. Until then, stay tuned on NewOrleansSaints.com for all of the info you need leading up to that matchup. I'm Erin Summers. Thanks for joining us right here on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network.